What's going on?
What's up?
Manosphere, Black Manosphere. How y'all doing tonight?
All right. Let's see. Let me get on this. Yeah, we took a week break, but we back.
Yeah,
We is back.
we got that kind of relationship with you guys. Break here, break there.
Like some old friends. You get
Yeah,
back together and
yeah.
nothing ain't changed.
We ain't talked in a while, but it's still the same. We still got love for you.
Mm,
So I guess this week we going this is something I threw at you,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to talk about the removal of the when I say man, I'm talking masculine anyway, but of the masculine man
Mm-hmm.
in mainstream. And it the last few months or so, I try to stay away from the TV and all that stuff, but I'm starting to see a trend
Mm-hmm.
um, in advertising and in sitcoms, uh, really in movies, uh, where the masculine man is being crossed out almost, or
Mm-hmm.
it, not even being brought up, not even in the picture. Um, I'm seeing a lot of the even the superheroes now.
Oh Jesus! Not Robin and damn Superman
Yeah,
and
I mean it,
Superman's son and
it and I'm trying to figure out what is this about? Why do we need to go back and recreate something that was already? And I have no problem with having these different superheroes with different uh, likes, but why just not make a new superhero? Why do you have to take something that was there and then turn it into something else? And that's just I'm not just strictly talking about superheroes. I'm talking about just like I said, the masculine man being removed from all points of
Mm,
society from what I'm seeing. But that's just something that stuck out to me was the whole superhero thing.
mm,
Even you seeing more and more female superheroes.
mm.
Nothing wrong with that. But it's like men can't. A masculine man can't do anything right now. He don't even belong in the limelight. What did you when I brought that topic to you? What came to your mind when I said the removal of male from mainstream?
Well, I mean, it's something that been going on for a long time. So it's um, based on based on based on the fact that women spend more money than
Hmm.
men, and based on the fact that we have a group of we pander to a group of women that want to have women empowerment. Um, that's why we see it. Like, I've been in the YouTube streets and stuff and all that other looking at certain things, and there's a female and there's a black chick. I can't call her name because I don't remember who it was, but
Hmm.
was talking about black males need to be aborted.
Wow.
So it's
I mean,
it's
just on GP,
no, no
all of them.
yeah, that's what she said. I mean, I wish I would have if I'd have got here early, I'd have pulled up the video because I knew I was going to speak on that. But I knew I was going to speak on that, but men, it's like they don't find men to be
Necessary.
necessary. Yeah, to be
Yeah.
necessary.
Right.
Like women could raise kids by themselves. We could
Very.
make money, get the bag,
Right.
uh, and that's all the man needs for their money
Hmm.
and what they could do for you. That's it. So based on that, built on the feminist movement and how it said women can is equal to men,
Right.
they just don't feel that 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 masculine man is needed.
Mm.
First of all, that he needs to be softer. He needs to have a softer image.
Get in touch with his
In tune
feelings.
his emotions. That's the kind of stuff they try to push to everybody. If yeah, we have an issue. It's going in and out for some reason.
What the sound?
No, no, not the sound. The internet. But based on that, it's like um, they're doing that to, like I said, pander because
Excuse
they know that whatever we're trying to sell, if we push women empowerment,
me.
oh,
It's
that's
gonna
what it
sell.
is. It's gonna sell.
It's gonna sell.
Back to Cosmopolitan, back during the feminist movement, that's how they sold Cosmopolitan magazines. Women empowerment, women, you're strong women and this, that, which not saying women aren't strong and they
Right.
don't have all that. I'm just saying that um, the society was built on keeping men down, pushing men down, so
to build women
to
up.
build women up, so they can just sell stuff too.
And see that's I guess that's my biggest problem is why does somebody else have to suffer to build somebody else up? Why can't it be men and women, doing great things? But it's like whoever has decided there's only room for one gender.
Mm.
We can't have what they call what everybody asks for inclusion.
Inclusion and
We
equality. Yep.
can't have everybody in this, and it's kind of disturbing
Mm.
because it's been going on for some time now, and we are now starting to bear the fruits
Mm.
of these seeds that we planted. We're seeing what is taking place in households
Mm.
where men are absent. We're seeing what's
Mm.
what's taking place in society where men are absent,
Mm.
whether that be in school or uh, just in public. Period. Where men no longer feel comfortable saying something to somebody who's out of line just because it's not their child.
Mm. Yeah.
And now we're bearing these fruits, and it's not good.
Well, that started off in our community first before it hit the school. Because
Oh,
you remember back in the day, you used to go walk somewhere and the neighbor saw you doing something. Oh, you gonna get your ass with my neighbor. Then you're gonna talk to your daddy and
right,
your
he gonna
mama,
beat
and
your ass,
they gonna
yeah.
beat your ass too.
But when the male was moved out, and by nature,
Mm.
I always go to nature. By nature,
Mm.
women just aren't. I don't want to call it violent because
Mm.
when you discipline, it's not so much violence, but that's not their nature to discipline uh, with that kind of physical sternness. They're more of a
Nurture. Yeah,
nurturing
they're nurturing. Mm.
aspect, and that's just that's biology. Don't
Mm.
don't shoot the messenger. I'm
Mm.
just telling you how it was designed.
Mm.
It's meant that way for a reason. That's why we look different. We made different. Even though we got two eyes, two arms. But we have different roles. And I know people hate to hear that. About roles and
Yeah.
gender,
Yeah.
but it's a real thing. It's the reason we're created the way we are.
And
Um,
that's also why they came out doing this. They want to get away from roles.
but okay, okay.
Think about it.
Yeah,
If
yeah, I agree. But I was getting ready to go off on a whole other
go
topic
ahead, go ahead.
because it it's a structure in place. It's a reason we are created the way we are because we need. If everybody could do everything,
Mm.
then we would only have one species. We wouldn't
Yeah,
have a male and female.
we all be amoebas
Yeah,
walking
we
around,
all
right?
be asexual,
Hmm.
walking around here just doing what we need to do. Reproducing on our own, building on our own, whatever the case may be. But nature brought us together to make something greater, to
Hmm.
to continue the population of whatever species you're a part of, whether you're a deer,
Hmm.
an alligator, whatever the case may be. But that's why nature brought two of them
Hmm.
together, for that purpose. And we do have roles set by nature, not by me, not by society. All men did in the beginning was follow their instincts,
Hmm.
and that's how society was set
Hmm.
up. Just following their instincts from nature, from biology. So and it's really nothing wrong with that. I feel like I'm going kind of now. I'm getting away from where I want to go, but it doesn't matter. This is a very important thing to me because I'm seeing it more and more, and I hear people gender roles and make it sound like it's a bad thing,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's not a negative. It's not a knock against anybody. That's where our strengths lie, and when you start trying to take on something that you're really not made for, yeah, you
Mm.
can do it, but you're not really made for it, then you get a lesser product a lot of
Hmm.
times.
True.
You get the result is not what you were intending, or not as good as it could have been. I tell people all the time, you can do what you want, but are you good at it? Is that what you were here for? Yeah, women can take out the trash,
Mm.
but I mean I'm using that as something small
Mm.
because I don't allow unless nobody else there. Me and my son take out the trash in my house.
Correct. Mm.
Simple as that. Yeah, she could. Women can. The women in my house could take out the trash, but why? That's something I think I set aside for the males in the house to do,
Mm.
and it's a role. But is that something that you really do? You really will you feel empowered by taking out the trash?
Yeah, no, no. And usually when you see that, when women complain about that or talk about that, is because they want a certain position. Like they want a certain position. They look at it as being respect,
Hmm.
I guess from men. But back in the day, women were respected, even though they had whatever roles they had around the house. They were respected. They were, and you know, back in the day, those roles are set in stone. Put it this way,
Right.
and they fed the family, nurtured the family. That's an important job.
Very important.
That's an important job. Like if your family don't, if you don't feed them, they starving.
Yeah.
So
And I,
it's like they downplayed their mothers and their grandmothers to be something else that's outside of their like you said, go back to biology. It's outside of what they're supposed to be, the structure.
the
So
nature, yeah.
they're trying to turn men masculine to be negative, toxic, or whatever,
Hmm.
and they want men to be
And not necessary.
not necessary. So what ends up happening is that you take the place of the man now. You take the masculine energy, and now you want to complain that men aren't man enough to deal with you
Hmm.
when
What now?
things are out of order.
Now, what kind of sense does that make that you're not man enough to deal with me, like, as though you're
Mm.
a wild animal or something? Now, you have to deal with wild animals. If you're dealing
Mhm.
with another
Oh
human
yeah,
being,
yeah, yeah.
it
You
shouldn't.
deal with animals, yeah.
Yeah, you
You got to
shouldn't. It shouldn't be. Oh, you can't handle this. What?
you handle wild animals, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you do to wild animals. You handle them. But
Mm,
if we human beings, it shouldn't. I haven't. It's not a handling going on. We should
mm,
be able to interact like human beings do.
mm,
And that's funny that you brought that up because I hear that quite a bit. Not necessarily directly, but just in passing, looking at different comments and
mm,
things like that. Oh, you're not man enough to.
yeah.
I
I
always,
need a real man to,
always
yeah.
as though they would know what it is, and I think we get it confused. I'm gonna go back to what you were talking about earlier about the gender roles, as far as it was set in stone. The women nurtured and fed the
Mm,
family, and I think it was a lot of people on the outside looking in, criticizing that, and not looking at that as a real job,
mm,
as a necessary uh, part to the puzzle
mm,
for a family unit.
mm,
You know, it's easy to be outside. If your mom went to work or whatever, you see somebody else's mom who's at home
yeah.
taking care of the family. It's easy to say, "Oh, they're not really doing that," because in your mind, "Oh, they sitting at home,"
Mm,
so they couldn't be doing much.
yeah.
But as we see in today's age, with everybody working from home and doing different stuff, work still gets done at home. It,
Yeah.
it
Correct.
sounds good,
Yeah.
but when you working from home, you working.
You doing something.
Simple
Mm,
as that. And I think it got minimized by outsiders
mm.
trying to, you better than this.
What I think also would happen was that in our community, like our women signed up for that movement, right?
Hmm.
And they took on the experiences of the white women during this movement because in the black community, it was a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Like you remember, went from we don't have no choice at all. Like black men and women, black men and women had no choice to do anything. To now the men are the head of the household, and now we got to make hard decisions or whatever. And y'all not, women weren't used to listening to black men.
Hmm.
To now white women like, okay, hey, we need to do this. Get from underneath the evil men, the patriarch, and this, that, the other.
Got his
Well,
foot on your neck.
they talking about white men. The patriarchy wasn't black men,
No,
so
not
um
then.
yeah, not well, still not now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We don't own shit, and our community doesn't work out of patriarchy anyway. Our community is the women is on top of the men
For the
for
yeah,
most part.
for the most part,
Most part.
and I was I'm gonna say I was blessed enough to have it, the other way around,
Mm,
and that's why it's easy for me to recognize it when I
mm,
don't see it. I'm like,
yeah.
wow, that you never even give it a second thought as a child because that's all you know.
Mm,
But then you see people who had a different standard of living, I
mm,
guess you can call it, and it's glaring a lot in many cases.
mm,
The lack of respect for a man,
yeah.
um, thinking that men are expendable, and
Mm.
we are. I
But
guess that.
everybody's expendable to somebody,
I
I
mean, in
guess. But
society,
yeah, but in society,
we,
yeah.
we, we treat ourselves as being this. We go off to war, we fight, we do whatever to keep everybody else safe and keep the civilization
Mm.
going. But
And I had a thought earlier, right?
mhm,
Because I was thinking about sometime I like get somewhere and I'm doing work and just thoughts about whatever we're gonna talk about, right? Come up, whatever. And the thought about that, what you just saying, expendable, was that black men, because of we're in a gynocracy,
oh,
whatever. Yeah, we're in a almost like a matriarchy situation in the black community. Is that because of that, men undervalue themselves
right, uh,
and women overvalue themselves.
mm,
So I think that is the issue we have in our society.
Don't say that out loud.
I mean, but either they're going to disagree,
Of
right?
course,
They're going to disagree,
who
and
would
then
agree to
then
that?
we have to talk about it. Then we have to
But
talk
but
about it.
but but Leo, let's disagree and
Mm.
then let's have a
Yeah, let's have a
conversation about it.
conversation.
Let's have a
But I
because
think that's why the whole removal of masculinity, because men and they haven't been fighting this, right? They haven't been
mm-mm,
fighting the fact, because we respect our mothers, we respect our grandmothers, we
absolutely
respect them. Now when it comes to interpersonal, whatever relationship type stuff, women don't feel respected by black men, but it's because they're not playing the same role. Like they're trying to be us. They're
right.
trying to compete. And the thing is, when you're competing with somebody, you're not going to respect them.
Not
This is war, basically.
not so much you're not going to
Mm,
respect them, but when it's a
mm.
competition, how do you go beyond that? How do you
Mm.
get beyond that competition to a relationship?
Yeah, relationship. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you can't. Two men in a relationship do not work, and
Uh, uh, uh,
well,
uh,
I'm not gonna say it don't work.
Hold on a
I'm
second.
just saying,
Where am I? Where am I? Got there?
yeah, put it
Where am
right
I?
there.
Where am I? Damn.
Two men in a relationship don't produce fruit
Oh, okay. There we go.
of children.
Yeah, thought I was
Now,
gonna have to. Thought I was gonna have to hit him with the.
to elaborate, cancel. To elaborate on that, um, two
Uh-huh.
masculine energy
Yeah.
sources are not gonna be fruitful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that can be coming from a man and a woman or two
Yeah.
women or whatever the case may be, but it's not going to be fruitful
From a biology
because
nature.
right,
Okay.
they're not going to be able to come
Yeah.
together and become as one to achieve the greater goal.
Yeah.
You know,
The original goal of man, if you believe in the Bible and
you don't have to believe in the
if believe
Bible.
Christianity, or believe in just
Hey, if you just
anything
believe
other
in
than Big Bang's theory, anything other than Big Bang
even,
theory,
hey, even
you
if you
know.
believe in
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that the only way you make another one is
No, no,
to
Big
bring it.
Bang, no, Big Bang
They just
theory.
showed up, huh?
Yeah, well, just spark, and then monkeys, and then
Yeah,
and
but
you know.
even then we can't. You know, is that what they call sex, the Big Bang? I mean, because even then we can't keep making Big Bangs to
No,
keep
no, no, the
procreation.
original
That's
Big Bang,
exactly
the
so.
original Big Bang.
The original
Yeah,
Big Bang.
right
So I
there.
mean, those two energies don't work, and that's
Uh,
what you see today in a lot of these relationships, where you either have two masculine energy sources,
mm,
or you have reverse energy sources where
yeah,
the male is bringing the feminine energy and the female is bringing the masculine
yeah,
energy. And I see it all the time, and I feel sorry for these guys, but they don't. They feel they are right at home where
mm,
they are, and it's interesting, I guess, because that's the environment they were raised in. So
mm,
it doesn't rub them the way it
mm.
would rub somebody
But-
else.
And if you break that down, even what you just said, if you break that down, usually the man doesn't feel respected in that
Oh
situation, and a
no,
woman doesn't feel loved in that situation
right? Because how can you
because it's reversed.
when you are operating out of the
Mm,
wrong
yeah,
essence?
yeah,
You are operating strictly from a nature that you know nothing
mm,
about, but you've seen it, so you're acting almost. You're trying to portray a role that you have no idea how to do it because you weren't born to do it. You can walk like a man, talk
mm,
like a dress like a man, but you'll never become a man
mhm,
acting like a man. You have to be born into that, and that's it. Simple as that. You
mm,
have to be created that way. Same thing with the female. You can never be a woman. You can walk, talk, dress like a woman.
mhm.
Are we stepping on toes with this? It don't matter. But you have to be born into that to
Yeah,
be a woman. You can say how you feel all day long, but
yeah.
the facts is facts. Biology is biology. Science is science. For you science, I'm about to use a derogatory term, but okay.
I'm
You
ready with the button, so don't worry. Um, but yeah, the whole thing about the whole energies thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can feel that you are whatever.
Oh yeah.
And as long as it works for you, yes, it's cool as long
Mhm.
as it works for you. But at some point, right, even with that, at some point in their life, and I've heard this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not speaking for experience, but I've heard this. Even at some point in your life, like people that live outside of what they were born to be, still have identity issues. Even they identify as what you call them. Like the
Oh,
the,
you
the
got to.
suicide rate is high,
It's a reason for
depression
that.
is high.
It's a reason for that.
So
It's a reason for that. If you truly feel this is, and I'm with you. If that's what you feel, then cool. But when you introduce someone else into that dynamic, trying to have a relationship, you are betting that they are 180 degrees opposite in order for
yeah,
that to work, and that's most likely not the case
hmm
because for one, you operating outside of nature.
yeah,
So you really looking for a needle in the haystack.
mm,
But you started throwing out some
Yeah.
statistics about
Yeah.
depression,
Yeah.
suicide. But that to me that just makes sense. If you're fighting with who you are
Internal. Yeah.
internally,
Mm.
how can you have any kind of peace of mind? At the end of the day, and I'm not saying you right or wrong or anything like that. It's just I don't want that struggle. That it
Yeah.
has to be a unbelievably hard struggle for somebody who's
Yeah.
going through that.
Yeah. But I think and that's another reason too. We touched on that, but it's not really about the LGBTQIA. But what it is that in order for these groups, in order for these groups to exist and have power, or whatever, they have to diminish those roles. They
Right.
have to diminish those roles to make it seem like, because think about
Anybody
it.
can do it.
Yeah, think about this though. It's only a small percentage, of people in this country identify or fall under the umbrella of the LGBTQIA, and if you look at TV, right, they make it seem like it's a
Everybody do it.
majority.
Yeah. Every
Like,
every commercial you're gonna
mm,
see same sex
mm,
couples,
mm,
multiracial
yeah,
couples. It's just and I know why they do it. I
mhm,
get why they do
yeah,
it,
yeah,
but it at some point the more you see it, it becomes second nature.
mm,
Then it becomes ingrained in you.
yeah,
I don't see why they
mm,
do it. I just know this is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be same sex. And it's like I said, I don't care what people do. I don't. You love who you love.
yeah.
But what are you trying to get out of this relationship? Is my question. What are
And,
you looking for as an end result? Do I hear people all the time talking about, oh, I just want to be loved.
mhm,
Well,
mhm,
love love is not the key to a relationship. I mean, I hate to break it to people, but love is not going to take your relationship anywhere. It's good to love the person you're in a relationship
mhm.
with, but if you're trying to get into a relationship to achieve something greater, it's not going to be love that does it.
It's not the
It's
the foundation of it.
no, it's
Yeah.
going to be this masculine energy coming together with this feminine energy, and I'm you don't have to agree with me, but my my idea is our whole point for being here on Earth is to make more of us.
Yeah,
Simple as
to
that.
do some work. Yeah, we
Keep
have work to do. Yeah,
yeah,
keep the
that's
race going.
keep the race going. That's it. So you come with something else, that's fine. But what's your real true role for being here?
So I think that also with the whole topic removal of masculine energy, I think is that they started this within our community back in the '60s, right? Probably before that, actually. Um, as far as like trying to break down our family structure, the way to keep that from happening is they have to diminish men because you can't have structure in a family. If
Right.
you have structure in the families, then now you have a community because men
Everybody
and
has
women are working
structure. There
together,
you go.
and now the community is able to structure on top of that.
And
So,
it's really
yeah.
just that simple.
Hmm.
It's just that black and white. You bring men and women together and create structure, then you have a stronger community.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Because each each individual piece of that community is going to be well structured and
Mhm.
it's going to create a larger structure.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
really just that black and white, but it's hard to put into motion, especially from where we are now,
Yeah.
because we've gone so far in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
But start with the youth, and I want to have a couple of young guys, on here, and I talked to a few, and they were absolutely willing to do it,
Mm.
but it's just I hadn't been in constant contact, but just to see how they feel, what they're
Yeah.
experiencing, and
Yeah. No, we need to do that. One of my friends was saying that earlier. Hey, you need to get some young guys because
yeah,
y'all trying to reach the youth.
right,
And I was thinking this too. Like after I talked to her, and you had said that before,
mhm,
and I was thinking that what's going to happen? Like I have something else I'm doing. I'm formulating doing about relationships between men and women and this whole thing. I said it on Sunday, but I'm gonna say it again here so anybody who's watching gonna know about it. It's called CRT, critical relationship theory,
oh, John,
and it's about how to get critical race theory in
yeah,
schools. But before we even deal with critical race theory in schools teaching the youth, we need to deal with our
our home,
homes, right? We
yeah,
need to get
the,
that
the
right.
the basic building block of a society,
Yeah.
which is the family structure.
So I'm formulating something to talk about this and do it responsibly to try to get younger folks because about time like our parents die out and we know what they did. By the time we die out, these kids gonna be in a world
Hey,
of trouble.
it's
Like
gonna,
our community
yeah,
is gonna be is they don't have anything to build on.
uh-uh. because the foundation is gone.
The foundation be
Well,
gone.
the
It's rocky now,
yeah,
but it be totally gone.
any remnants of a
Yeah,
foundation
yeah.
will be gone
Mhm.
because, like you said, it's rocky now.
Mhm.
It's teetering
It's
now,
cracked up. You know.
but yeah, after us, yeah, that's it. That's excuse me,
Mm.
we falling down. But my whole thing with this with the removal of the masculine man is I was looking at TV the other day, and this is when it really actually kicked on. I can't
Mm.
remember what I was looking at, but I saw a preview for the Equalizer.
Hmm.
They remade the Equalizer
Yeah, yeah.
with Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah.
I was like, "What? Damn! No, men can't do nothing right no more." I was like,
Nah, we can't
"We
do
used to be able
shit.
to say today, and now
Nah,
we."
black men can't save shit no more.
But Queen Latifah can go in there and
Mm-hmm.
wear some ass out
Mm-hmm.
and get and find kidnapped babies and
Mm-hmm.
everything. I said, "Man, this is interesting," but I understand what's being done.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the program, but unfortunately, it's one thing when you playing the game and you know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of people who are younger than me or who don't quite grasp it, they don't know. They don't know it's a game being played. They
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, this. Oh yeah, that's great. She's saving the day, and it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But men have a role in society too.
Mm-hmm. And they know life usually imitates art. So if life imitates art, then yeah, we could do this and we're going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
It might not affect the white community like that, but definitely affect the black community.
Hmm.
Um, like D.L. Hughley said, when the white folks get a cold, the black community get the flu.
Yeah.
So um, that's basically why I think a lot of times that is, they do that type of stuff, um, in order to make the world based on make the world what they want it to be. You know,
Right. It's to create
it's the programming.
their
Yeah.
idea of a utopia.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever their idea of utopia is,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I say, it's programming.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would be a lot harder to program this many people,
Mm-hmm.
but after watching what happened with when the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be difficult at all.
No,
It's going to be
no.
very easy to get people to fall in line when you
Mm-hmm.
start using fear
Mm-hmm.
or punishment as a tactic. You know, isolation.
Mm-hmm.
People will fall in line very quickly. I mean, in no time. So it's a very possible thing right there.
Mm-hmm. No, and like I said, once we die out, once our parents die out, and once we gone, uh, think about most of the people, most of the people in our age range didn't have fathers, right? So they didn't get certain programming that we've got.
Hmm.
So even when you get to the next generation, even less, you know,
Oh yeah.
have fathers that are active a lot of times in their life. Um, and you got to where they're battling each other, the divorce or baby mama, you're not having marriages.
Yeah.
So baby mamas, baby dads, whatever, you're not having marriages. So they're not getting the everyday structure, everyday foundation.
They don't know. They
So
don't even know what a family setting is
yeah,
supposed to look
so it's
like.
supposed to look like,
When
yeah,
you
it's
have
something they see on TV.
right,
Mm,
they don't know what a Cosby Show
mm,
type look is.
mm,
Because they never experienced it,
mm,
and now it's almost like a fairy tale. It's like a TV
mm.
show now
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
don't see. Well, it's out there, but you just don't see it as much as I would like to see it. So, but my biggest thing, like I want to see. Well, of course you see what because we've discussed it before, but that's just something that popped in my mind. Just I probably was looking at the football game or something. I
Mm,
can't remember. But I saw it, and it just I was just like, man, they are really removing men from the equation. Even in football, if you look at football, if I'm not mistaken, uh, this is kind of off topic slightly, but the female ref that they have in there now didn't have to go through the same amount of years of experience in order to get that position on the football field as the other refs did.
mm.
I have no problem
Well,
with a
that's
female ref.
business moves. The
Oh yeah,
NFL is a
but
business,
it's
and
a business, and the same thing they did with the pink socks and stuff when they used to rock the pink. That was a business move because they were looking for the female dollars as well.
yeah,
Is,
yeah.
is what they were looking for. But I'm trying to figure out, does it make that big of an impact, or do you just want to? is that enough to keep people
No,
off
no, it
off
makes
your ass?
no, it
You
makes
know,
a big no, it makes a bigger impact. Because think about it, like I said, go back through the the movement when they had in the '60s, late '60s, when the Cosmopolitan wrote about certain things, and then you had the women that subscribed to it, and it Cosmopolitan magazines was like skyrocketed. It put them on the map. So now
I can see that
you
back
see
then because they didn't have an
they didn't have an
outlet,
outlet. They didn't have an
so
outlet. So
it's kind of like Ebony and Jet for us.
correct,
You
correct,
know,
yeah. So when you start seeing these business shift and you start seeing the sales elevate, now that's why you got other business doing that too. Okay, this is the formula for it. Their whole thing is not to be. They don't give a damn about a family
nah,
structure.
they want that bread.
They just want your money.
Yeah.
So even with the LGBTQIA,
Is that the right letters?
no,
Or
no,
you
no,
just throwing it away? I just say the L because I have no
LGBT,
idea.
yeah, QIA. It is though, yeah,
Is it?
LGBTQ. Uh-huh. So even with that
For the test.
that organization, right? We see a lot of commercials with that because they know this is untapped
Resource.
resource, yeah,
Yeah.
untapped resource where we put them and use and highlight them,
It's all kind of money over
all
there.
kind of money over there. So it's politics is business, it's all these things trying to make trying to get a foothold in your life,
In your wallet.
in your wallet and everything, you know.
So, so this kind of answered my question. It wasn't really a question; it was a statement about the removal of the masculine man. But this that kind of answers it. It comes down to finances.
Yeah,
Sounds like
everything. Follow the money.
follow the money.
When you do that, follow the money. And that's the whole thing about it. Us as black men, we grew up, we know that let's go to what's going on right now. That whole Kyle Rittenhouse trial, right?
Okay.
Think about this. We know if there was a black man up there, certain thing, a lot of this going on wouldn't happen, right?
See, I had been. You got to fill me in.
Okay,
I ain't been
so
paying attention. Fill me in.
he got up there and crying. He got on crying or whatever,
Hmm.
you know, fake ass crying and shit,
Okay.
and you see certain reporters doing, just reporting a certain way, like he's a hero.
Hmm.
He's a hero. Underage kid with a gun, with a rifle, right? Talking about he going to protect people businesses. So now what they did, the judge did was he threw out the underage person with a gun charge. He threw that charge out.
Okay.
So for anybody that
Why
don't,
did he?
for
Okay.
anybody that don't understand, is this was going on, right? If you don't put the underage person with a gun, that is a crime. If you don't add that, anything after that is debatable because you didn't throw the crime out. Now you can put in self-defense, because if you can't, if you have a crime, like if I go out there with a gun, the gun is a legal gun, and I do self-defense, they're gonna say no, it's a legal gun. They're gonna look at that first crime and say everything after that is, we can't even build it on anything after that. You killing somebody, you shooting somebody because it's a legal gun. So that shooting is illegal. Like it's illegal. So they threw that first thing out, him even having the gun. So now everything else is basically it's debatable. Everything is
So
debatable after that.
so what was the grounds for like throwing the weapons charge
And
out?
I haven't found,
The,
I don't know. I don't know
okay.
why they did it, but the facts are the facts. He was a 17-year-old with a assault rifle.
So can you now? I'm trying to think. I know you can't buy one in Georgia
No, no. I'll say this the
unless you're
story. No,
18.
what happened was, yeah, you can't. What happened was that he had his mom drop him off to a friend house,
Hmm.
and the friend, whoever this guy is, bought the gun for him.
Okay.
Then the friend drove him over there to
This all
uh
happened like the in the same day. I mean, in the like the events, the sequence of events. It
well,
was
no,
like,
the friend already had the gun,
oh,
but he had the gun for him there. Then they drove over to where the riots was happening in
gotcha.
Michigan, somewhere in Michigan, whatever, I can't remember, but
Kenosha.
yeah, in Michigan. So drove him to Michigan
Oh,
where they had the
Michigan.
riots and stuff. They
Okay.
had the little, it wasn't even riots. They was protesting whatever. They was
Hmm.
protesting. It might have been a George Floyd protest or something like that was going on at the time. But anyway, they was protesting, and he's walking around with his AR
Hmm.
or his whatever assault rifle, and they have pictures of him like taking pictures with the cops, with the assault rifle. Cops never, told him anything, which if he was of age, they really can't tell you anything. He's, you know,
He's legal.
he was legal at that point. What they thought it was legal, but at the point when he shot somebody, killed somebody, shot 3 people actually,
Mhm.
and they should have checked him, and they should have been like, okay, how old are you? Let me see you. Oh, you're only 17. Okay, lock him up. Lock you up. That's against the law. So, like I said, I was saying all that to get to the point where it was a black person doing that, a black male doing that. They would be quick to put you somewhere, like to get you off the streets. They'll be quick to do that. So, you know, it's not the they're doing this mostly for the black man because you know we know what happens to the court system. You know, it's not like justice is blind.
Mm-mm.
You know, we know what
It's
happens
not blind.
when you go in the media, right? Uh, Colin Kaepernick, he was doing the same. You know, he was standing his ground. He was, you know, he was well and with rights to take a knee to, you know,
Oh,
voices, you
okay.
know, the voices in solidarity of police brutality that was happening at the time.
Right.
But he wasn't a hero. They didn't think he was a hero. Oh, he was using his voice to something he believed in. No, he was deemed. Oh, you're being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a political whatever. It had nothing to do with politics. That shit had nothing to do with politics. You know, so the way this country do, they look at black men as the issue, right? Everybody else gets a pass. But when it comes to black men, you know, we can't have that because if we get in power, right, they might do something. They might do something, or they might, you know, especially not a militant black man, right? You can't be in power because you might do something. You might try to make us pay for what we did to y'all.
Mm. That's
And
interesting. But I mean, and that's why you got to be aware of the law. Uh, that whole Colin Kaepernick thing. I've been watching this little black and white show
yeah,
on Netflix.
did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it,
Okay.
man. I'm be honest. I wasn't. I was. Uh, uh, I don't know,
What,
man.
what problem you had with it?
What problem I have?
Yeah.
I had a lot of problems. I
Okay.
mean, for one, I think he put his parents in a very bad light. I don't. I don't know if they feel guilty about the way they raised them. Um, now these are people who say, you know what, we're gonna adopt this child because we're looking for another, we
No,
want
no,
another child.
no, they didn't. No, he was the second choice. He said it on there too. He wasn't the first choice.
Well, he was only the second choice because the first one, somebody had already
Yeah, yeah.
adopted that child. So yeah, I mean, and I don't
They
think
didn't go looking for a black child. What I'm trying to
no,
say.
right, nah,
Yeah.
hell no,
Okay.
hell no.
Hey,
What I'm saying is they didn't go into a store and
mm,
like, not that one, we
mm,
want this one. Oh, that one's already sold. Well,
mm,
give us this one. It
mm.
wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was, uh, he was available and they wanted to adopt another
I
child.
don't even, based on the name Colin, I don't even think they knew it was a black kid.
You couldn't.
Yeah, they didn't know it was a black kid
I mean,
until it
he
probably
don't.
came,
He
and he
don't
didn't even
even look.
focus on that.
He
So
don't even
yeah,
look black.
yeah. Mm,
Honestly, for the most, well, whenever you got any kind of ethnicity,
mm,
they call you
yeah,
black or
yeah,
whatever.
you black.
But it's to me, honestly, I think you owe the people who raised you to put you in a good environment. You owe them a certain amount of respect. And he lived a
I,
pretty privileged life.
but I don't think I didn't see where it's disrespectful. I think
He
it focused on the fact that they didn't understand
right, and
what he's
see,
going through.
they didn't
Yeah,
understand,
yeah.
but
Or they didn't see it either. Either they didn't see any of that happening. Which,
right.
if you like, think about you.
No, they can't see it.
Yeah, they can't see it
Because
because yeah,
their
yeah,
mindset is
yeah, yeah.
completely different. I
Mm,
get
yeah,
that, and I don't have no problem with
yeah.
him highlighting that.
Okay.
My problem was, like I said, he he took race, well, he took culture and tried to make it race. What he was talking about for me
Mhm.
in that show was the culture of, I don't want to call it Black America
Mhm.
because all Black people don't grow up in the same area, but
Mhm.
he was making it seem like he was missing out on the culture. But the society that he lived in was not that culture, so he didn't know anything but where he was living. You know what I'm saying? But that two-parent household
But he
with the
gave.
white,
I think. See, you're saying as adult man. Think about he's giving it to you from a child's perspective.
he's giving it to you from a child.
Yeah,
But my
yeah,
thing is, he didn't know any
yeah.
different.
Uh-huh.
He see AI on TV. Everybody see AI on TV. Of course, the people try to dress like him, but when he finally like met up with the black guys, it was like felt like he was, that should have been a part of him because they shared a complexion. When in reality, the way they act, the way they are, It's like New Orleans and Atlanta.
Yeah.
We both have a certain culture.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans culture is not the same as Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
culture, and you won't know that unless you grew up
Unless you go there.
in New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans. My thing was he lived in whatever part of
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin. He wouldn't know anything about though.
Whitesville.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wouldn't.
Whitesville.
He wouldn't even know anything about
Mm-hmm.
that particular culture.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're the person who donated the sperm for your life happened to be black, or possibly I don't know who he is.
Yeah, it was a black man, and
But
his mother was white.
that doesn't make you that doesn't automatically put you into that culture. You don't get that culture. You get the culture you're raised in. And he was raised in a white household, and that's how they did stuff. And that's why I said no, they wouldn't be able to see this stuff that he and I think I'm sure a lot of that was exaggerated. It wasn't going down like that because he had one little spot where he was every day he went he got harassed. I'm like, damn, I ain't been harassed that much, and I'm way blacker than
But
this.
you're not in Whitesville though. You in Whitesville?
No, you're not. But I get maybe that's what it is. I'm not.
You're talking from Decatur. You're talking from Decatur,
right?
And so the thing is,
different.
You're in what was it? Farming territory.
Yeah.
Cattle raising territory. A black young boy, and if he put braids, trust me, it was that bad when he rocked braids.
Oh, I believe
trust me.
But like I said, you look at the whole high school environment. He had black kids there. It wasn't abundant some, but they were there. But even with the whole braids thing, now I do remember.
When AI came on the scene, that's
when the whole break. But even in our community, people were kind of it was split. Everybody wasn't cool with that. Everybody, you was being labeled in our own community. So it wasn't just black people cool with it. The rest of everybody else wasn't. It was some friction there because I remember my nephew kept trying to grow his hair, and that thing they wasn't having it. And then eventually, as he got older, they I guess you really couldn't stop.
Yeah, you couldn't stop him at that point.
And allowed him to do it. But I mean, it was a rift there in our community. So for me, I just felt like he could have. I think you owe the people who raised you a certain level of gratitude because you were orphan.
Yeah,
for better or worse. And I'm like, man, it's to me, this guy's putting his parents in a terrible light. But
and I wonder. I mean, and the thing is, we don't know. Maybe he checked with his parents, and
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. I mean, but they could be, they could be woke. They could be feeling like, oh, we were bad parents. But to hold them accountable for a culture that they know nothing about, that's kind of ridiculous. It's hard. Now, the whole race thing about being black, that's something completely different. But when I'm talking about culture, the whole, like you said, the braids and the hip hop culture, whatever you want to call it, that's not your culture, dude. That's not what you don't know anything about that. So to feel
but he wanted to emulate it because he felt like he's missing out.
He felt like that's what he should have been because of the color of his skin. But that's not that's not. I know for a fact the few white guys we had in our neighborhood. People always say, "Oh, they trying to be black." They ain't trying to be black. They being Decatur. That's all they know. They not trying to be black. That's how they were raised. That's where they from. They're not trying to be black. Same thing with him. You wasn't a part of that. You wasn't raised in that environment, and he was trying to make it seem like my parents should have known better. That I need. This is what I need in order to be a complete black man. And I'm like, that's not. That to me, that's just as bad as stereotyping black people. To be black, you got to fall in this category. You got to fall in these lines. If you don't follow in these lines, then you not black. Then that's how I felt when I was looking at it. And I did say felt, but that's what I got out of it. But it was entertaining enough. It's just I just the way the parent thing was really what rubbed me the wrong way.
And I think I think it was almost necessary because especially when he got to the point where the cop stopped him and
I already knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. So, but I think that was just to highlight and then how the parents reacted to it.
Because they
didn't want to believe the cop was being racist.
They didn't see the subtleties that he had been experiencing since they can't, like I said, you can't expect somebody to live that same life you live, even if they live in that same household. I live in the same house as my son. I have no idea how he sees the world, how he views the world. All I do is I talk to him, I try to explain how things work, but he got to figure that out. I told him, like, you got to come up with your own set of values, your own set of standards. I'm gonna give you the foundation that I think will help you out the most, but at some point you got to be your own man and come up with these things. And that, but yeah, I already knew that was going.
Oh, yeah.
I knew
It
where
was
that
a
was
given.
going.
What actually I knew it.
When I saw him pass them twice,
That's
I
me
said,
too.
"Oh yeah, he gonna get
That me
pulled
too.
over."
And
I
that's when
saw
I
that.
knew it. I'm like, okay, every time it's gonna be something with that cop gonna do something.
Right. Yeah,
So
and then
I knew it. Yeah.
when they had him drive, I said, "Oh yeah, he finna get pulled over."
Yeah.
I already knew what that
Exactly.
was. I already knew what that
Are you
was.
all right? Yeah, y'all all right
Y'all
out there?
okay? I was like, dang. But and he could have experienced that because I tell everybody. I think that was were they in California when that happened?
Either Nevada or
It was somewhere
Nevada,
around there.
California.
But I tell
don't
everybody,
remember.
my first real racial incident happened in Arizona
Arizona.
as a grown man. I'm like, I've been living in the deep racist South all my life and never had
Never
to deal with
experienced
this.
them.
But I go out west where everybody loves everybody,
Yeah,
and
it's
this is
supposed to be more progressive.
exactly, and that's
Mm.
where I was like, whoa,
Or more liberal. Or
this
whatever.
is heavy. But yeah, man. But I mean, it was. I guess it was for what it was. At least the story. And my thing was, instead of you focusing on the negative, you are look at what you achieved from where you came from. Orphan played football at the highest level. He was one of 32 in the world. It's only 32 starting quarterbacks in the world. He was one of them.
Yeah.
But he talks about it as though he just had the worst life in the world. I'm like, dude, they set you up for success.
I don't think it was the worst life. What I think
no.
it was highlighting the racism in America. That's what it was. And it's not about worse. I mean, even okay, so put it this way. We two black men fairly around the same age. We grew up in areas that's fairly black. We have two separate experiences.
Oh yeah.
So what your worst is your worst. And I tell you my words, be like, oh shit, I ain't go through that shit, but what the fuck? That's some fucked up shit. But that's what it is. It's like being from white America where he's from, that was the worst shit he dealt with.
And it probably was. But I guess me looking at the fact that his parents took him to some kind of quarterbacking.
The camp, yeah. Oh, he had the best of the best of everything.
Yes.
But the thing is, think about,
you can't appreciate it though when that's all you know. See, he felt like he couldn't even focus on that because he that was second nature. Oh, I'm supposed to have it because that's all I know. He thought he was missing out on the
other stuff, yeah.
Experience.
And it's easy, like you said. I really don't think him highlighting this was because he was trying to trying to downplay anything. I think it's like a cinematic experience to where you try to put somebody in the place of where you was at the time, and I think that's what he was. I could be wrong, but who did the show, right? Robert Townsend.
I was shocked when I saw that.
Robert Townsend.
But
I
know
think
Robert Townsend's. I know his work though.
Yeah.
So I know how he gets.
So I think that's what it was. Like, we're gonna drop these people. Anybody, drop them off in how you felt, and you're gonna get this from whether you be white, whether you be black. Think about it. There's a lot of people that wasn't from our community that watched this, and they were able to get that because of the fact that it was highlighted so heavily. So I think that was just to get that message across. And even Dr. Toya Wright says she's going to start with her therapy stuff and at different jobs and talking about racial whatever it is with the job thing, racial. I can't remember. But anyway, she's gonna put that as her tool, one of her tools for them to watch that. So insensitivity, that's what it is, racial sensitivity or whatever. Train. There you go.
But,
so
and I'm glad I talked to you about it because you did give me a different aspect as far as he's in, because I was looking at it from a completely different angle. He's in white America, and so this is what he dealt with. And like I said, he still. I don't care what nobody say. It's a level to this. If you have lighter complexion, you don't have it as bad as people of darker complexion. So and I was looking at it from the fact of I'm like, this guy has lived a better life than the majority of people will ever live. And all he could focus on.
You sound like the white people right now. Just shut up and throw the ball.
I ain't tell him that, but like I said, I didn't get to go to no quarterback camp.
And I agree.
That's how I was like, dude.
But based on his perception, it's the worst thing that he dealt with.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You brought that to light for me because I was completely dismissing that part. I was just like, man, this dude lived a pretty good damn existence, man. Made a whole bunch of money.
He was very privileged.
And for me, it just sounded like he complaining. It sounded like he's whining. I'm like, man, come on, get on, man. I would love to whine to have many millions of dollars.
But even with this, right? I don't know. He might have put his own money in this, but even this, to me, is a teachable moment to show like people, this is what we endure, right? This is what,
Oh, this is a real thing.
this is some real shit.
Yeah.
Like we got to the point where you got black people talking about we don't want to see slavery movies no more, right? But you need to show people, like I said, when we die, whatever, that even know about this, used to watch Roots every year and shit,
Right. That used to come on every
that
year.
every
It
year,
was
right?
faithful that you watched
Every year. So the thing is, when we die, this next generation is gonna be theory to them. They gonna be able to tell you anything. Like when they teach you shit in school, they're gonna be telling them kids anything.
Yeah.
That's why the whole critical race theory in school being taught is so important.
You think it is important?
I think it's important because
we got to talk about that.
yeah, we could get on that on this. But how else do you understand? Because the person that wins the war, writes the story.
Gets to tell the story.
They get to tell the story. But how else do you know exactly where you're from? They already robbed us of our ancestry, right? They already robbed us of our history back in Africa. So this is their history there, and they're going to rob you of your history here. So what? You're going to be able to tell these kids anything about them. Your fucking grandfather was Superman and shit. Right. And he was a white guy, and Jesus is white and whatever. And
fly on the horse.
Yeah.
And see, and let's say I'm gonna take it away from America. I mean, across the world, it's been a goal of the people in charge to erase everybody else's history. That is just, I guess that's the nature of people. Or who want to conquer.
Who want to conquer? Yes, is nature conquers.
To remove that history, so you'll never know where you came from and what you're really capable of.
Think of Hitler. Think of if Hitler won, right?
It happened.
If Hitler would have won, think of what that history book would look like.
It was a number of whiteness.
Just white everywhere you could see.
Just blue eyes.
And he would have. They went to Africa. If anybody that don't know the history of Hitler, right? He wanted to get rid of everybody that wasn't Aryans. Everybody, like the whole world wouldn't have been nothing but white, blue-eyed, whatever. Just the whitest white, Snow White. And he was trying to go to Africa and just destroy all the black people. He was world domination. That was his key focus. So if he would have won, it would have been nothing but white folks running around here, just hail Hitler and whatever was going on. Yeah, I'm just saying, hail Hydra. It'd have been some damn, hail Hydra or some shit. But that's what it would have been, and that's why the story is so important.
Absolutely.
And the crazy thing is that these white folks will never tell the damn Jewish people that their story isn't fucking important, and that's some bullshit. They won't tell them that, but they'll tell us all day long that you need to get away from, you need to stop worrying about slavery. You need to stop focusing on the past and just worry about now. But it matters to a little black boy and a little black boy coming up, a black girl coming up, to know your history, to understand why things are the way they are, and why you need to you come from stronger people than what the fuck, you come from strong people that fought for their freedom, faced death.
I think if more people understood the lineage that they come from, they would have more pride.
They would have more pride, exactly.
And they wouldn't put up with a lot of this shit. They wouldn't do a lot of the shit that they do. And we all guilty of being little shits from time
No, at times, yeah, at times we all.
But I press history, and unfortunately, like you said, so much of it has been changed, altered, destroyed. But you know what you can do? You can go and get several sources, and then you have to come up with your best idea of what was taking place. But if you don't know your history, you will repeat it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
it's no question about it. And I hear people talk about modern day slavery. I don't think that's where we are. It's a big difference from what slaves actually went through in America as to what people are going through now. But we can't get back there if we don't see the signs of what's going on.
No, think about it. It's true. I'm gonna tell you why modern day slavery is true. Because if you don't know, like you said, if you don't know your history, you don't know what your people went through, you wouldn't have pride. If you don't have pride, you're willing to do anything. So you're out here committing crimes. You're out here committing crimes, and where you going? To jail. You're going slave. If you don't know what your history fought, you don't understand about Black Wall Street and how group economics works, which call them, mentally, you
Yeah,
mentally
it's
you're in
slavery.
slavery
Yeah,
because all you doing, we're in it now because all we doing is paying money out to people for name brand because this right here, this is who I am. I'm wearing polo, so I'm worth more than the next motherfucker.
yeah,
Right.
man.
And I mean, every adults you do, you work for it, whatever, fine. I'm not talking about your adults. I'm talking about the kids. For the kids, this is what they're worth. And if they get you at young believing that's what you're worth,
That's it.
they got you all the way up to
Until you get that,
whenever.
until you get
Till you
that
wake
wake up
up from that.
call. Get that wake up
Yeah,
call,
till you get the wake up
and
call.
some people never get it. You know, some people. I hear people talking about the stuff they own, and like, and that's
Yeah.
and like we said earlier, that's what it comes down to is separating you from your money. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
finances,
Mhm.
and that's the American way. That's capitalism 101. It's separates you from your money, and you feel good about it. You know, you want to be excited. Oh man, I got that new Bugatti outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you happy about giving somebody how
Mm-hmm.
many millions of dollars do the damn car cost? I can't remember. You know,
Yeah, depend on the car, probably
depending on which one.
1.5 or something.
But
It
yeah,
depends.
but
I don't know.
it's yeah. And when I'm talking about slavery, I was strictly talking about in the sense of what happened. You know, back in the day. But you're right.
Going round you up, and you talking
Yeah.
about the actual whole act of it,
Right.
round you up and just put you in chains.
Uh-huh.
No,
Put
but
you in chain.
Jim Crow. I mean, when Jim Crow happened, it was slavery, but they changed the rules of slavery to where like we can't enslave you unless
But
you
yeah,
do something wrong,
but
unless we deem you to do something wrong.
mental slavery is
Yeah,
a real thing,
yeah.
y'all. It's a real thing, and if you don't have your mind, you can't. Nothing else don't even
It
matter.
don't matter. Yeah,
It
nothing else
don't matter.
matters.
It does not matter.
And that's also why the removal of masculine images, like masculine images, because think about, and ladies, I'm about to say something, y'all don't,
Say
y'all
that
could get
shit.
mad at me, but don't, this is not out of spite or anything like that. But the thing is, when a woman is raising a young man, he observes her being a woman.
That's it.
He observes her in operating how she operates. A woman could pop off and not get any consequences, right?
Absolutely.
Not getting consequences. But let a black man go out in the streets and operate that way. I can't remember what I saw this on. This is a movie, and it holds true. Every time a black man gets emotional, gets mad or whatever, he goes to jail, he dies. Pretty much, I'm not saying every time,
Right.
but majority times,
Yeah, yeah. I
if
know
a
what you're saying.
black man in in public gets emotional or get angry or whatever, gives any kind of emotion, they're looking at him crazy.
Yeah,
They're gonna look at him crazy. He's gonna draw attention to himself because you're not supposed to,
yeah, and,
you're not a human being.
and that explains a lot of what we're dealing with today, as
Mm-hmm.
far as having that as the role model. And I say
Mm-hmm.
that I'm talking about a female, like you said, who
Mm-hmm.
feel like at any given time she feel like she can go and talk to anybody any kind of way or pop off, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
When you pick up that trait as a man, now you you ain't playing by the rules, because as men, when men get together, we interact with one another. We Game says this all the time. You know, it's a low level threat of violence.
Yeah, low level threat of violence, and that's
If
what
the
the respect is.
if
What
the
women see as respect, but it's not. I know you can whip me. We gonna get in a fight. You might shoot me or something. You might have a gun.
right,
So I'm gonna have to respect.
you got to respect me
Yeah,
as an
as a threat.
individual,
As a threat. No, it's a threat to me.
as a threat that,
Not
you
as a
know,
human being, but a threat to
as a
my
threat.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to get to him, but shit, he might get me first. You
Yeah.
know, so
Mm-hmm.
we respect men on that level. When you're not taught that,
Mm-hmm.
when you don't understand that guy across from you is just as dangerous as you
Yeah,
think you
as
are,
you think you are. Correct.
then you don't, you and I'm not saying, I'm not talking about being scared, nothing like that. I'm just saying it's a level of respect that you give an individual, because if it get dirty, then nobody's safe.
Yeah, no.
Right? Everybody got to die
Yeah.
except for me. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to die, so I
Yeah.
mean I'm trying to
Yeah.
kill you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but when you raise in that environment and you don't get to understand that level of respect, then you go out here and you're reckless with your life and you're reckless with
The
other
other people's
people's
lives.
life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we see today, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of recklessness.
And,
I'm glad you brought that
and,
up.
and I think so because of, and I said this earlier. I've had discussion bouncing around all this all the time. When for some no, I'm not gonna say for some reason because I know why. It's because the environment we're in right now. Uh, we have the black manosphere. We got the manosphere period, and men are starting to be more vocal about things that's happened in the community from way back. Since we were children, they're starting to be vocal about it and start to talk about the fact that, you know, they're trying to make us seem, the society is trying to gaslight us, make us seem like
hey man, stop using
we,
them gaslight? Let me look that up. Go ahead.
Trying to make us seem like, what we believe, what we saw coming up isn't real. Like
Oh,
it's not important or whatever. And you know, men are supposed to be structured, right?
absolutely.
Stoic, whatever you want to call it. But that's supposed to be in your masculine trait. And the reason why is because the emotional man, first of all, is a dangerous man.
Very
It's
dangerous.
very dangerous man. The first thing, because you cannot control, if he's out of control of his emotion, he's willing to do anything based on how he
Well,
feels.
he's not being logical.
Yeah, he's not being logical.
I've
Exactly.
always said,
Mhm.
if I ever get robbed at gunpoint, I need a
Experience.
experienced armed
Yeah.
robber
Yeah.
robbing me. I don't
Yeah.
need
Exactly.
anybody robbing me for
Yeah.
that first time
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
most likely they're scared
Hmm.
or in fear,
Yeah.
which is an emotion.
Yeah.
And somebody who's scared will shoot you
Hmm.
quicker than anybody else. And
Hmm.
don't and they can't tell you why. The guy who's done it several times, the veteran
Yeah. Yeah.
armed
Yeah.
robber,
He's
you
calm.
have
He's
nothing to
calm.
worry about. As long as you don't do nothing stupid,
Yeah.
you good. He's just
Yeah.
gonna take your possessions and
Mhm.
he's gonna go on about his
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. He's calm. Yeah.
But yeah, that's and that's a terrible example I just gave.
No, but
But it's
it's a real
real
life
because
example
guess
though.
what? I
Yeah.
get to go home
Yeah.
after that.
Mhm.
I have to deal with the trauma of being
Mhm.
robbed, but I get to go home after that
Yeah.
versus boxing me up and
Yeah.
sitting me in the
Yeah.
ground somewhere.
Mhm.
That's a real thing. But hey, man, well you preaching tonight? Go on, Pastor Lawton.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing. It's like we have in our community, we have been led astray. We've been, we're so far off the mark where we're supposed to be. And it's because of the masculine man being out of the household, not being deemed to be respected. You're not worthy of respect.
Mhm.
And based on that, there was something floating around the internet too, where it's like young men don't want to be men because they weren't taught to respect them. So like they see their mother talking about men like they ain't shit. So now they like, okay, I don't want to be, you don't want to be the subject or the person that your mother think ain't shit like the
Right.
rest of these men. So you're gonna emulate what you see your mother do a lot of times,
Mhm.
which is something a lot of times is less than manly for what men consider, not women, because women can't tell you
How to be a man?
how to be a man. So it's what men consider to be manly. It's going against it, and that creates a problem in our community because if you don't have men, right, you don't have the security. I'm just talking about community. I'm not talking about relationship now. I'm not talking about man and woman relationship. I'm talking about in your community. If you don't have men walking around that you can go to when something's going on, like I have women neighbors,
All the way up.
one, two, three, like four across the street, women neighbors. And if anything happened, like their car broke down or something like that, they'll
Guess what they
knock on
come
my
to?
door and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me check it out. Let me see what's
As
up.
soon as something
You
go
know,
wrong, let me go
or
talk to this
the
man.
one over here, her dog, ran away. And I'm like, you need to get a shot collar, oh, you did, or where you go to Amazon, just stuff like that, because we think logical a lot of times. We don't get frustrated so easy because
Or even in frustration, we still understand this frustration is not going to solve this problem.
yeah,
So
yeah, hmm
let me,
yeah.
because it's easy to get frustrated, but then you step
Mhm.
back and like, okay, now let me fix this.
Let me fix it quick so I can get on and do something else.
Right.
That's the logic. A, B, C. We're gonna chronological order, whatever, and so we can get to what we want to do. And that matters, especially when raising kids. That structure matters. You having structured kids is easier kids to manage to where they could get up to a certain age and they could be basically self sufficient.
You try to build adults.
Yeah, trying to build those exactly.
And a lot of times what is overlooked by, and I'm still on women, but what they look at something that's being insignificant
Mm.
or small, but what they don't understand and what they're missing is that small thing is a big thing when they're an adult.
Mhm.
Something as simple as being able to wake yourself up on time.
Mhm. Mhm.
You need to learn. That's a trait that you have to learn
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
get your ass up and go to
To
wherever you
keep a
need to be.
job and yeah,
You don't need somebody coming in your room. Get up,
yeah.
whoever, because if you do that until they're 18, then what happens when they leave to go somewhere else? And I guess they're gonna start calling them and like, hey, get up,
Yeah, fuck.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no.
that it seems insignificant enough.
Yeah.
Why you got to do that? But it leads to bigger
Mm,
problems if you don't allow this child to turn into
mm,
an adult. If you want to nurture them through
mm,
fucking life, then you're gonna get a big baby. Is what you're gonna get. You're
mm,
gonna get a 40-year-old baby,
mm,
but nobody wants that, man. So it's
mm.
it's, it's important.
And even let's go back to the prison thing, right? Even the fact that the preschool to prison pipeline. You've heard of that, right?
I've heard it. I hadn't researched it, but I heard
So
the
they did a
statement.
research, and it was based on kids, and it was boys, because boys are supposed to be reading at a fourth grade level, even in high school or whatever it is. But they were saying if you follow the boys and see what they're reading and everything, and you can see, you can guesstimate how many guys are going to go to prison based on how they do in school, basically not reading, but how they do in school,
I was
based on how
saying
they do in
based on
school.
the
Yeah,
reading
no,
level.
based on how they do in school. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but yeah, based on how they do in school, you'll know around how many jails you have to build.
Okay. So give.
So I mean, I'm saying
I,
it's a real thing. No,
I believe
yeah,
you.
it's a real thing.
I was equating it to myself, and I know
Mm.
my academic
Yeah.
level in high school. I was just curious.
You was in the number.
I should have been in
You
jail.
should be in jail. You did. He's fucking criminal. But I mean, it's not.
I
It's
beat the odds.
yeah,
Maybe
you beat the high. Look, you need to feel like Colin Kaepernick. Damn it, you might not have get the you might not have went to damn quarterback school, but you didn't go to jail. Shit.
Go to jail.
So you need to feel good about yourself.
I'm interested. I need to look at that.
Yeah, look that up.
Curious.
Preschool to prison pipeline.
What grade? What grading system? Because I know what my
can't
grades.
Remember what it was, but what I mean, that's how they. Once again, my father used to tell me this growing up. We as black people need to understand psychology, sociology,
absolutely.
These studies of the mind. We need to understand how people think and their behavioral, their psychology and whatever. So we need to understand that in order to understand how we're being controlled, manipulate. Yes, manipulate. We need to understand that. Once you understand how to run somebody's mind, you can understand, you can make them do whatever you want to do.
That's what I was just
their
saying.
body will follow. If their mind goes somewhere, their body will follow. We need to understand that.
That's what I was just saying. I saw how easy in this pandemic they got people to fall in line. And I was like, well, holy cow, we further gone than I thought. So
yes,
you're right.
You don't, and the thing is, right, you don't see this, just like in our community, right? First, no, not just like in our community, because this is what happens in our community. We don't see it, and once we see it, we forget it so easily.
Oh shit.
We forget it. We go back to the Matrix so quick. Like we go back. Oh shit! I want to taste steak. Let me go back and sleep.
Right.
That steak tastes good. So that's what we do in our community. Whereas other places, they see something happen. Housing market, right? When the bubble happened, right? Some people. Well, no, I'm gonna say that because that happened only once. Let's say when a natural disaster happened, like hurricanes and stuff happen. Some people understand that whenever a disaster happens, somebody's going to prosper. Somebody's going to be making money every time a disaster happens. So that happens every year.
What you see.
So what they do, okay, I'm gonna get my money right throughout the year, and then when these disasters happen, I'm gonna make my bread because I know they understand the way it moves. They understand even, okay, let's go back to the housing market. I can make that happen there too. Because in the housing market, what happens every so many years, you have a shift of people. People move in town and they move out of town every so many years. So if you understand that, somewhere in between, you're going to buy houses out of town when it's cheap because people going to get tired of traffic and move out of town. So your housing price is going to go up. You're going to be able to sell that shit. Then people going to be selling in town to get back out of town. So now you can take your money, flip it back in there to where people moving out. Then 5 years later, whatever,
keep going.
He's going to keep doing the same thing. So, I mean, we don't understand that in the community. We don't play chess in our community. We play checkers. We play only in the sight, in the vision, in the what we could see at the time. At that time, yeah, Uno, whatever, go fish, pity pat. We playing something, but we're not playing chess. And I think it's because we're not structured enough to do that. And that goes back to the fact of we're not having enough men in the households. We're not respecting men, women. We're not respecting men as being
leaders,
able to bring something
as leaders, as strategists, as could be because you put a man in the household, he's gonna a competent man. I'm not talking about a man.
A competent man, not a male. So that's another thing, right? Not a male. We're talking a man. Somebody that understands life. Teacher, somebody teacher, preacher. Somebody that has that. So men's supposed to teach you something. Men's supposed to be able to teach you something. Men's supposed to be able to bring something to.
Supposed to have a certain level of skill doing something. Even if it's changing the tire, that's something that he knows how to do. They should have a certain skill level as a man.
And if he doesn't, I mean, you can ask any other man. They don't consider them to be men. Yeah. Y'all need to understand this. if he's not useful to the group of men, he's not a man.
Yeah.
He's not a man in a man's eye. Y'all look at him like, oh, that's a man, just because he
He a
got a dick
male.
and you know and
Yeah.
whatever. But to men, he's not a man. And what y'all do when y'all view that like that, y'all diminish
The real man.
the real men. You diminish the real men and who they are. And that's why you walking around here complaining about men do this, men do that, when a lot of you don't even know what real men are
What a
and
man
haven't
is.
had them in your house and
And yeah,
haven't seen them uh haven't seen them in action.
I agree, man. I agree. I ain't even. We done did a good job today, man.
Yeah, you feel good about it?
I feel good
Yeah.
about it, man.
You know, we only had cancer us once, so
Yeah, was that me? What did I
that was you
say?
that
I was
time. That was
talking
you.
about two men don't work. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
no, you
yeah.
can't make no babies like
We
that.
can't make no babies, but you know, everybody don't have the same, don't want the same
Everybody don't have the
outcome.
same
Yeah,
desires.
everybody don't
You
have the
know,
same, don't want
you
the same
couldn't have
outcome in
that
life.
desire
Yeah.
if you are attracted to somebody of the same sex.
No, no.
I mean, you
Damn it,
can.
damn it, damn it. You can
You can't have
because
that desire.
yes, you can have
But
that
how you
desire.
make that happen then? Art,
Adopt,
artificial,
adopt.
artificial ways there.
Yeah, they artificial ways, and you could adopt.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
adoption to me is artificial.
Okay. Artificial ways adopt. Okay. Well, I'm
That
not gonna cancel on that
I
one.
don't
Okay.
think I don't think that's what Mother Nature meant when she brought us on Earth. Like they can adopt.
No,
These people can adopt, and then everybody else is I'm fucking around.
but because of humans, because we're humans, and
And
we have
we so
yeah,
smart.
yeah.
We think we can outthink the system.
No, well, we can think about it.
We
You got
can't.
people that
Hey,
have kids that don't want kids.
we can't outthink it. Mother Nature is undefeated, and we think we done got somewhere, and then she come back with something else
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be something on the back end,
yeah,
but I
so.
mean,
But
but you can get what you want.
hey,
The
right,
thing is, you can
there
get
you
what you
go.
want.
In the
Yeah,
forefront,
yeah. In the
you feel
forefront, you
like
get what you want. Yeah,
you've accomplished your goal, but
and
it's something waiting on us on
yeah,
the other
that's
side.
just like we
They call
right
them
now.
unintended consequences.
Yeah,
Unintended consequences.
and that's what it is. Right now, we're living in unintended consequences
Absolutely.
because of the things that happened in the past, and that's why we talking about this now.
For probably under the guise of doing
Better.
proper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, doing better.
Doing
Not
better.
this is we want to make a better society, and the way to make a better society is
get rid of this guy.
Yeah, get rid of men and these evil men with the toxic masculinity, and erase them from the forefront. And we're going to put other people in the forefront, and that seem more softer and
Right.
I can't remember the name. Egalitarian society. That's what
I gotta bring my thesaurus.
In the egalitarian society type view, and
bring my dictionary.
that doesn't work in those countries that have that. Well, it does work. What happens is people choose.
You can make
each
it
other. No,
work.
what happens is people choose what's supposed to be going on. They end up doing basically, uninterrupted. They do what's been done in the past. They do, women do what they do. They start working in different places in the place that women work. Hospitals, teachers,
Ain't it
different
funny
stuff like
how it
that.
work like that? The harder you try to separate it,
Yeah.
just falls right
It's
back.
gonna fall back if you leave it alone.
Yeah, and that's nature. That's
Yeah.
nothing.
That's when
all
it's
that
nature.
is.
Yeah,
It's nature.
you're right.
But oh well, But I think we did a good job today, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good.
I'm just gonna say pretty much we got to get that masculinity is not bad, and it needs to be men need to be back in the mainstream of society. It's really my final point. But the reason for this is what we discussed is it's all about finances.
Yeah.
So it's about a dollar. It's why men, especially now, are being removed from mainstream. So, but we are very necessary.
Men, not males. Men. Yeah, we're gonna stress that men, not males. Responsible men. Damn, I earlier when we was talking, I had the idea about next week, but I'll do something about it.
We said a couple things.
Yeah, we said a couple things. I'll pick something out, but I'll come back and think about it.
You know what? I like the back and forth about the black and white, the Colin Kaepernick thing. We probably need to start like reviewing different shows and stuff too, maybe.
I told you. Oh, you know what?
Shows.
Told you to watch a show named Why.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, watch that,
And
and we could do that. Yeah,
okay.
watch that, and we could do that. Basically, I'm gonna give a brief summary of it. Basically, what the Why is all the men, basically we're talking about, they got rid of all the, well, they didn't get rid of it. Something happened to all the men, which is, that's why I call it Y, the Y chromosome.
It's missing. Okay.
Y chromosome, everybody with a Y chromosome pretty much died. So you have a bunch of women running around here and only one man, and from what we know now, only one man survived and one monkey that was a male. And
Is
we
it
don't
still
know.
ongoing?
It's the end of the season. It's the first season ended.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
How
so
many?
you can go watch it.
Remember how many episodes?
8, 10, I don't know, 8 or 10. But you get to see, we could talk about later after you watch it, but you get to see certain things, and I believe it's dead on what would happen, because we are all human, whether we male or female, we are all human.
Yeah.
Humans do certain things, and when you have power, you're gonna do certain things. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And
All right.
yeah,
That's
we
good
could do that.
suspense.
Yeah,
Good thriller.
yeah, suspense. But check it out. Why? It's to me, it's a good show. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed that, folks. I say this Sunday on ADHD Hour. If you're not, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Black Male Podcast, on YouTube. Like I said, go subscribe, put the notifications, because next year I'm gonna be trying to move away from Facebook and just solely doing on YouTube. So, if you like the content, support us. If you have anything you would like us to talk about, you know, hey, hit us up. Um, Facebook,
Now you moving away
Instagram.
from Facebook in a particular reason, or you just YouTube a better platform?
Is because Facebook has certain limitations
Okay.
and YouTube is different. And then what I'll do, I just bounce it back to YouTube, bounce back to Facebook. I'm sorry, bounce it back to Facebook. But if they want to be part of live, and
That'll be YouTube.
it'd be YouTube. Yeah, the live would just be on YouTube. So if they want to be part of live, be part of discussions, leave the comments or something where they want to get our take on something, they can just go do it through YouTube. So yeah, that's all I got. Like I said,
We'll see y'all next week then.
check us out. Thank you for the ones that came through. Thank y'all for supporting and being here for the conversation. We'll be back next week with something different.
All right.
All right.
What?
I didn't have it queued up, so I'm just bullshitting.
Oh.
I didn't have it queued up. I was caught up in it. But anyway, we are gone. Later. Peace.